Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I wanted to show you a few of the things that I've had the opportunity to read since I've been on Christmas break over these last 2 weeks as I get ready to go back to work here. Now, first of all, one of the things I found, and I don't remember how I found this, but I'm glad I did, is an incredible book that was self-published via a Kickstarter campaign, and it's called Making a Nightstalker. Making a Nightstalker is by David Burnett. You can find it on Amazon.com. And it is one of the most incredible, objective, honest stories of the global war on terror. This guy was a member of the elite 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, and this is a very down-to-earth story told in plain language. It doesn't glamorize war. It tells a very truthful accounting of the military experience, good and bad. The entire book is great. It's an amazing narrative. David Burnett is not a writer. This is his first book. He simply sat down and wrote the book, and it is absolutely incredible. Self-published, available on Amazon.com. David Burnett's Making a Nightstalker. This is a must-read because it is such a fair, balanced, unglamorized, and objective accounting of not only the global war on terror, but in addition to that, the military experience in general. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this book. You know, I wonder if Making a Nightstalker may eventually make a great movie script. This one you don't want to miss. Making a Nightstalker, David Burnett. He published it himself, raised the money on Kickstarter, and it's incredible. You gotta read this. Second of all, Peter Sagan's My World. Holy mackerel, this book it's like Peter Sagan. It's a wild ride. It's a sprint. It's the final 200 meters in any stage in the Tour de France. I burned through this thing in 2 settings. It is paced exactly like, as I say, the last kilometer in a Tour de France stage. It is a great read. It's kind of a funny book, though. Sagan, it seems like Sagan didn't write this so much as he may have dictated in this kind of weird stream of consciousness sort of style. But as a result, the pace of the book is frantic, as I say, and it is a very, very quick read. This is particularly a great book for cyclists who don't do a lot of reading because it is such a fun book to read. And it gives a pretty, it's a little, you know, he doesn't address things like performance-enhancing drugs and things like that in the sport. So it's a little glossy and maybe a little bit superficial. But the reading is fun, and when you get done with the book, if you didn't really like Peter Sagan already, you'll love him after the book. So check this one out. It's fun. It's just a fun book, and it is well written. I really enjoyed it. If he wrote this, and he didn't just dictate it to somebody who took down the dictation and then later wrote it for him, if he actually wrote this guy's really a credible writer. It's pretty darn good. One of the greatest discoveries I've had over the last couple years in books is this guy. This is David Poyer. Some of you guys probably already know about David Poyer. He's written over 40 books. He's a university professor and he's a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He is, anytime you read military technical thrillers, you're always going to compare him to Tom Clancy. But this guy is, dare I say, and I don't mean to diminish the incredible contributions of the late Tom Clancy, this guy is the next level. First of all, he's super technically proficient because of his military background, but then secondly, this guy's an amazing literary talent. He's an incredible writer. His descriptions are luxurious and they're haunting. It's just amazing stuff. If you saw the movie that was a little bit of a flop, I didn't care for it too much, Hunter Killer, well, that was based on one of his books. It's a shame they didn't do a better adaptation of it, but his books are so luxurious and deep and opulent and visual that there was almost no way that Hollywood could have translated any of his books to the screen. I didn't know that this guy wrote Hunter Killer before I picked this book up. I just read the notes on the back and then grabbed it at the bookstore because it looked kind of interesting, thumbed through a couple pages. But then when I got into it and I started to read about his writing, I've been missing this guy for a long time. He's got a huge series. After I finished this one, I bought the first book in this series that chronicles a fictional conflict between the U.S. and China. You've got to read this stuff. David Poyer, he is a beautiful creative writer. He narrates action better than almost anybody I've ever read. And in addition to that, he's technically proficient. This is a must-read. You got to pick up, just buy any one of David Poyer's books, jump in anywhere. I went back to the beginning of this China series, started reading that, and after I finished this one, this is a knockout. One of the things that I've got coming up here is I'm just starting Julie Moss's Crawl of Fame. Julie Moss is really the person who put the Ironman triathlon on everybody's radar after the ABC coverage on Wide World of Sports showed her crawling to the finish line. Over the last few years, triathlon has changed a great deal. It's become significantly more commercial, at least Ironman has, and the sport has contracted somewhat. So I was excited to see Julie's book because I wanted to reconnect with the things that sort of drew me into the sport in the early 1980s. Haven't read the book yet, looking forward to doing it, but I'm excited to see it's out. That's what I'm reading now, and I'm back to work. I don't know, I think I have one more week left on vacation. I wish you guys Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, whatever you're into. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching.